Oh, hey Bob. Thanks for keeping the seat warm. Oh, man, it's been a long day. Alright, let's see how the video's doing that I uploaded a few days ago. Can't expect too much, you know. Small channel and all. What the fuck? Hey there, TMS Derp here. Hope you liked that little intro right there. I did not expect this video to do quite as well as it ended up doing, so I decided to go ahead and do 3 more aircraft that once again should be in the game, and yet Gaijin refused to seem to put them in for some reason. So without further ado, let's get on to those aircraft. These next 2 aircraft I'm going to kind of combine because they were basically the same aircraft. It was just an evolution one over the other, and that is the F102 Delta Dagger and the F106 Delta Dart. We'll start with the Delta Dagger, obviously, because that was the one that came first. It started, I believe its first flight was 1951, same as the Voodoo. It entered service in 1956, but it was the first operational Delta Wing fighter / interceptor for the US. The problem was it had a very, very lackluster engine at the time for what the aircraft was supposed to be designed for, which was high speed, high altitude intercepting Russian bombers if they decided to get unfriendly with us and try and drop a nuke on our doorstep. So its top speed was only 825 miles an hour, which is barely good enough to get above Mach 1. That's Mach 1.2 if you're wondering, at 1328 kilometers an hour, which is not very impressive at all, considering what it was designed to be, which was a very light, very fast, very agile Delta Wing interceptor. But that would get fixed with the next aircraft, but they almost canceled the project entirely because of the lack of performance. Its armament, it had 24 2.75-inch unguided rockets, and it had the option of either 6 AM-4 Falcon missiles or 3 AM-4 Falcon missiles, with the addition of 1 AM-26 Falcon with either a conventional or a nuclear warhead. I can't imagine seeing the AM-26 in War Thunder anytime soon, but the AM-4 they could introduce into the game. I mean, it's not a fantastic missile by any measure, considering it had such a high failure rate and was not great at trying to intercept targets, but it's there. You can't really put AM-9s onto these aircraft and claim that they had them or whatever, because they never did. But anyways, back on track. The power plant was a Pratt & Whitney J57-P-25 turbojet engines with 5,307 kilograms of force, or 7,711 kilograms of thrust with the afterburner. Its climb rate was a very disappointing 66 meters a second. To put context into that, that is less than the F7U Cutlass, which was introduced 5 years earlier, and was also a bigger, heavier aircraft with less powerful engines. So that's kind of where the issues lied with the F102. It ended up serving for quite a long time. It ended up serving, I believe, in the reserves until the late 1980s. But it wasn't fantastic by any means. Where I would put it in the tech tree, I would probably try and put it around 9.0. I would say 9.0 to 9.3 I think would be perfect for the F102. And there's not really much else to say other than to get on to its younger brother, which was the F106 Delta Dart, which was basically the same aircraft, but it had improvements by lengthening the fuselage mainly so they could fit a much bigger engine into it, which fixed a lot of its issues, I would say. It started getting tested, I believe, in 1956, and then entered service in 1959, so only 3 years after the Delta Dagger, so it had a fairly quick turnaround, I would say. Its top speed was a much improved 1,525 miles per hour. That's 2,454 kilometers an hour, or Mach 2.3, which is much more respectable considering what the aircraft is designed to do. Armaments, it did get equipped with a 20mm M61A1 Vulcan rotary cannon, which was pretty standard in the 1960s, 1970s, once they realized that maybe you actually need a gun pod for your fighters, because once you run out of missiles, what are you going to do? You're a sitting duck. You might as well have at least a gun to get you out of those situations, or at least delay it. It also was able to carry 2 AM-4F or AM-4G Falcon missiles, or, as mentioned before, the AM-26 conventional or nuke warhead, which will never be implemented into the game. You can count on that. As far as power plant, it had the Pratt & Whitney J75-P-17 turbojet with 7,302 kilograms of force, or 11,113 kilograms of force with the afterburner, which is quite the substantial upgrade over the J57. And you can see that also in its climb rate, which was a very respectable 150 meters a second. Now, because of the improvement in top speed, it obviously can't be at 9.0, but it still does not have great missiles or anything like that. So I think the highest you could theoretically really put it would be at 9.7, right where the MiG-21s are, like the early MiG-21s with their R3s. I think it would be a very good competitor against those, because they're kind of similar designs, where they're very fast, very agile, very light delta wing aircraft from the 1950s. Alright, for the final aircraft today on today's video, we are going to look at our first prototype. It's the XF8U Crusader III. This was the final evolution of the F8 Crusader program. It was first flown in 1958 and was shown to pretty much dominate in every single aspect over the, at the time, brand new F4 Phantom. But because Robert McNamara came in 1961 and is a gremlin, only 5 prototypes were built, and it was never put into production. So what we're going off of is just what it was supposed to have, and what, in theory, it should have been. So its top speed was a frankly insane for 1958 1,826 miles per hour. That is 2,938 kilometers an hour, or Mach 2.37. For armament, it had, per usual with the F8 Crusaders, the 4 20mm Colt Mach 12 cannons. It also came, was supposed to come with 3 AM7 Sparrow missiles and 4 AM9 Sidewinders. I would assume that it's probably the D or later variant, because that's what you get with the F8 Crusaders in the game. For power plant, it had a Pratt & Whitney J75-P-5A turbojet with 7,444 kilograms of force and 13,358 kilograms of force with the afterburner, which is simply ridiculous, especially out of just one engine. It also had a climb rate of a very, very respectable 165 meters a second. So, like I said, it was the final evolution of the F8 Crusader program before that got canceled, and then the F8 Crusader just slowly got phased out of frontline duties once you got into the late 1960s, early 1970s, when the F14 started coming onto the scene. But as for battle rating, because the F8E Crusader is at 10.7, I think you could put this prototype Crusader at 10.7 to 11.0, so that way you're at least on par with the final Crusader in that line, and maybe put it one tier above or one rank above, and also you're not crowding up with the F4, which in the current game would vastly outperform the Crusader 3 because it's a later variant of the F4. But that's my thoughts on these three aircraft. So thank you everyone for watching. If you like what you see and you haven't already, consider liking and subscribing. If you'd like me to cover more aircraft, I greatly appreciate doing this, and I very much enjoy doing this as well, I should say. I love talking about aircraft and being a nerd about it and just theorizing of where this could go in the game. But if you'd like to talk, if you'd like me to talk about different aircraft, leave a comment down below, or just what you think of the video. But until next time, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.